ever Intercontinental Poker Championship. Welcome to the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas and the Intercontinental Poker Championship. Hi, everybody. Jeff Medders. Great to be back with Gabe Kaplan. And, Gabe, we started with 21 of the best players in the world from 21 different countries, down to our final two. Best 2 out of 3 heads up. Japan's Yosh Nakano, Australia's Tony Guoga. No doubt, Gabe, the talk of the tournament has been the behavior of Tony G.
Well, Jeff, a lot of players are loud at the table. They complain if they get bad beats, but nobody acts quite like Tony G. He is unique.
And they do have a history. They went heads up to decide our first semifinal.
They did, and if you remember, Tony G had to draw out on Yosh to win that first semifinal. But Tony G was a gentleman to Yosh Nakano. Will he be a gentleman in our finals? I'm anxious to find out.
Let's get to it. Let's get to the table. Match 1, each player starting with $1 million in chips. Blinds at 10 and 20,000.
And so far, Tony G has been a gentleman. Hasn't said anything out of line at the beginning of this match. This is a little out of line here. He's raising to 50,000 with a 4-deuce offsuit. Not out of line, but kind of unusual. Starting to be aggressive from the beginning, and Yosh has got a king-jack offsuit. He's going to raise.
The re-raise to 200,000.
Now, if Tony G wanted to go completely crazy and go all in with that 4-deuce offsuit, he probably would have won the pot.
That's pretty serious start.
Well,
you like the hand that much?
As we'll start playing. No sense waiting for the nuts.
I wasn't waiting for the nuts.
That's what I'm saying. I know you're not going to wait for the nuts, so, you know.
Yosh picks up a pair of jacks here.
I want to...
Second hand. This one a really good hand.
Raises to 60,000. And Tony G looking at Jack 10 offsuit.
So far, no verbal bombastic comments from Tony G.
But it's early. 7-8 queen for the flop.
Tony G has an inside straight draw, would make a straight with a 9. Yosh checks. Maybe he didn't like that queen.
4 on the turn.
Yosh checks again. I don't understand that.
And it's another queen on the river.
Yosh can't check anymore. I don't know why he checked on the flop and the turn. Maybe he was trying to entice a bet from Tony G, a bluff, or maybe he was scared of the queen. But anyway, he did it. Gave Tony G 2 free draws at that 9.
We've seen 2 hands, and both pots have gone to Japan's Yosh Nakano. So here's how you play No Limit Texas Hold'em. Each player is dealt 2 down cards. Players can then decide whether to call, raise, or fold. The community cards are then dealt. The first 3 are called the flop. This is followed by a round of betting, and then the turn card or 4th Street. Another round of betting, and then comes the river card and a final round of betting. What makes it no limit is that players can bet all of their chips at any time, going all in. Players then show their cards, and the best 5-card hand wins and takes the pot. No change yet in the blinds.
Tony G was very cooperative. We asked him to wear the most unattractive color in a polo shirt he could find, and he got that key lime pie polo shirt.
Yosh with a 7-6 offsuit. Tony G 9-8 offsuit.
So to play the role of a villain in his key lime pie shirt. Wow, he flops 2 pair here. And Yosh has got an open end straight.
80,000.
Tony G bets 80,000. Quick call from Yosh.
Yosh quickly calls, looking for 5 or 10 to make that straight.
Gets a deuce now on the turn.
Now Tony G is going to try and pretend that his bet on the flop was ill-conceived. He checked, hoping Yosh would bet.
3 comes on the river.
Yosh has made nothing. Tony's going to bet here. He was hoping Yosh would bet on the turn when he checked.
It's 105.
That's all right. That's all right.
Tony G wins the hand.
Finally, some blood for Australia's Tony G, and we'll see if that will kind of get his motor running in terms of his conversation at the table.
We're back on even keel.
Yosh doesn't give a lot of openings for starting conversations.
Yosh stays on an even keel. Tony G in the small blind. Pair of 10s for him.
Yosh deserves a raise here. Pair of tens with the button.
Raises to 60,000. And for Yosh, he has ace-queen suited.
Wow, we could have some big action on this hand.
60,000.
Ace-queen suited against a pair of tens.
I raise.
Yosh going to the stack of 10,000 chips. He re-raises it to 210,000.
He's raised 150,000.
All right.
And Tony G instantly
All in.
goes all in.
Pop the question.
This is kind of a tough decision for Yosh. If Tony G has ace-king, he's in bad shape. If Tony G has aces or kings, he's in bad shape. Tony G has an underpair. He's less than even money, but he's got a call because he's got 200,000 out there already.
It's a race, right?
It's a race. I'm a favorite.
I got 200,000 out there. I'm not going to give it up.
This is what Yosh was hoping for.
Well, that didn't take long.
Nah.
Yosh Nakano is all in, and Tony G looking to take a 1-0 lead in this best-of-3 final. CBS Sports Spectacular, the Intercontinental Poker Championship, is sponsored by PartyPoker.net. Play free and learn at PartyPoker.net. Back at the Palms Casino Resort, the Intercontinental Poker Championship, the final. Best 2 out of 3 heads up. Yosh Nakano all in against Tony G.
Got a feeling a 10 is coming.
Yosh does not share the same feeling. Yosh is hoping for an ace or a queen.
On the flop, 6-9-3.
Yeah. Got a backdoor diamond.
No help for Yosh.
Good flop for you.
Yosh needs an ace
2,
or
4,
queen.
5, 6.
And he gets the queen on the turn.
There's a queen.
Maybe the river.
Now, Tony G needs a 10. 2 tens left, 2 black tens.
But it's Tony G hoping on the river, doesn't get it.
650, 700, 730.
A huge pot and a commanding lead now for Yosh.
7.
Tony G's going to have $120,000 left.
There it is.
Going to have to make a big comeback.
Oop, there it is.
Nice one.
I think I know what it is with Tony G. He's a gracious loser, but a terrible winner. Whenever he wins, he goes after the people he beats. When he loses, he smiles and takes it in stride.
I still got a chance. I'll take that one.
And he does have a chip and a chair, but Yosh Nakano with the big lead. How tough for Tony G to come back from this?
Really tough. He's only got $120,000. $2 million out there. He's going to have to double up a few times. Possible, but very, very tough.
I'm all in.
Yosh's going to put them all in on this hand, and Tony G's in good shape.
You got
here.
an ace?
No, you got
He's
me
got
bet.
king, queen against queen 10. Tony G's got to avoid Yosh catching a 10. Double up to 240,000. And then things will start looking a little better.
This will be fun if I win this one.
Well, good luck to you, buddy. Thanks.
Buddy now.
Tony G has Yosh dominated going to the flop. 7, 5, and 10.
No.
Yosh pairs his 10.
And there's that 10 Tony G was trying to avoid. Now he's got to catch a king.
Doesn't come on the turn. 5 of hearts.
1 card left. Otherwise, Yosh is going to win our first match.
No king, and match 1 does go to Japan's Yosh Nakano.
Good start, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
And a gracious Tony G smiles and shakes hands.
Well, Gabe, it was Tony G that started out with the better hands, but it was Yosh that wins the match.
A complete reversal of fortunes from the first semifinal, where Yosh had the best hands and Tony G drew out. But that's poker.
Tony G is now 1 down. Will that change his style?
I don't think so. Tony G's got 1 speed, and I would bet he's sticking with it.
Let's see if Tony G can even things up. Chips reset to $1 million apiece. Match 2 getting underway, and uncharted territory for Tony G. He won the first Group A shootout, won the first semifinal. This is the first time that we've seen him on the ropes.
Raises here to 50,000. Yosh has got 10-7 offsuit. And Yosh is going to throw it away. He's changing his speed here. He's got Tony G down 1 love, and is not going to make it easy for Tony G. I think this match is going to go a little differently than the first.
Got to protect your lead now.
Huh?
You got to protect your lead, right? Nothing too fancy.
And Tony G figured out what's going on right away. But Yosh is a pro. Yosh knows how to play when he's got somebody down.
Suited deuce 4 for him.
Again, he's not even going to call with suited deuce 4.
And Tony G with a suited ace king.
And Tony G said, what's going on here? I didn't get any action with my ace king. It's not going to be easy here.
Tony G this time in the small blind, 10-7 offsuit.
Now he has 10-7. Remember, this is the same hand that Yosh threw away, and Tony G's going to raise with it. Shows you the difference in their styles.
And look at Yosh. Pocket kings for him.
Things are working out just the way Yosh wants them to.
Raise.
And Yosh raises 120,000 more.
Trying to bet enough to get Tony G into a fight, not too much to make him lay his hand down. Remember, Yosh would invest 0 with 10-7 offsuit 2 hands ago, and Tony G is thinking of calling 120,000 with that same hand. Difference in styles. He's going to do it. He's put 160,000 in the pot with 10-7 offsuit, down 1 match to 0.
And on the flop, deuce 8-6.
Gives Tony G an inside straight draw. Yosh still has the pair of kings.
One of the few times that we've seen Tony G quiet in this entire tournament.
And Yosh wants to stop this hand right here. Does not want Tony G drawn to a flush, probably. That's why he's bet 300,000. Or if Tony G made a pair, he doesn't want to make him 2 pair.
Is this an acting job, or is he thinking about making the call?
I have no idea. I can't. It really looks like Yosh has been playing very tight in this match so far. Yosh has betting 300,000 here. It really looks like Yosh has an overpair. I can't believe that Tony G is seriously contemplating. He wouldn't just call. I mean, he'd go all in, but I can't believe he's seriously contemplating it. The way Yosh has been playing, it looks like he has just what he has. Pair of kings, and he's going all in. Wow.
570 more.
Okay, here's the 300. Pull the 300 in first.
Yosh is going to call for sure. He just taking a second to catch his breath. He hopes Tony G doesn't have a set. 3 8s, 3 6s, or 3 deuces. If he does, Yosh is going to have to pay him off.
Yosh Nakano, a 3-1 favorite in the hand.
Okay, I call.
And he said, okay, I call.
What do you got?
He can't even figure out what Tony has.
Wow.
Straight draw?
It's a big hand.
Yeah.
It's a big hand if you catch a 9.
I might get a flush.
You might get a flush. You might make a straight.
I thought you might have a really weak hand.
I don't know why you would think that, Tony.
And this is it for the Thunder down under on the turn. And a 9.
A 9.
It's 1-1, baby. Tony G is back in
That's
town.
it. Yosh can't win.
Tony G is back in
I don't know if
town.
you have more or not.
Well, doesn't matter. I didn't come here to pass hands. I came here to play hands. If I flop anything, I'm going
5,
straight.
550, 560.
I just got you covered.
It's 1-1,
Sorry,
Jeff.
Man, that's a better beat. That beat. It's all right. Come on. It's poker, man. That's the beauty
It's
of the
poker.
game, right? A rabbit like me can pick up 10-7 double suited on a button, and he can hit. He's got the heart. It's just other people will drop it, but I'll make a push. Just in case you have ace king, you might release it. You got to release it. You don't get kings all the time. I got him covered, right? It's 1-1, baby, 1-1. Tony G's back in business.
And with that, we go to the third and deciding match at the Intercontinental Poker Championship. Back at the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, best 2 out of 3 final at the Intercontinental Poker Championship. Let's get you caught up. Yosh Nakano quickly won the first match, and early in match 2, it looked like it was game, set, and match. Nakano with a pair of kings and the odds in his favor as Tony G put everything on the line with just a straight draw.
I'm all in.
Okay, I call. You might make a straight.
And on the turn, that's exactly what he did.
It's 1-1, baby. Tony G's back in town.
This is unbelievable.
Tony G is back in town. I'm just hoping that he realizes he's very unlucky today. It's not his day, it's my day. Everything's going for me. I feel really good. All the positive energy is with me today. It's my feelings, it's my instincts, and that's going to serve me well. I guess they served me well when kind of had a gut feeling a 9 would come off, and it did.
I know that Tony G's best chance in this kind of a match is to, accelerate the gambling as much as possible. I set him up like I wanted to. Everything went perfect except for that 9 on 4th Street. Got to start over. Try to beat him on this rubber match.
Gabe, you were right. Tony G could not slow down.
It was like Hagler Hearns. Tony G came out swinging, had to get lucky and draw out to win that second match, but Tony G was Tony G.
What changes in this final match?
Nothing. Yosh Nakano's going to play like Yosh Nakano. Tony G is going to play like Tony G. It's going to be great poker. I'm really looking forward to this final match.
Down to our final match to decide the championship. Will it be Japan or will it be Australia?
All right, well, good luck, mate. It's been a worthy opponent, that's for sure.
Now that the 9 came.
Yep. Now I'm a worthy opponent, too. You need luck, Yosh, you know that.
Final and decisive match. Chips reset to 1 million.
You're running bad, I'm running good. You're getting good cards that are losing.
Yosh had the perfect strategy for that second match. Sit back, wait for quality cards. He knew Tony G was going to make a move. Tony G just got lucky, caught the 9.
That's right. You won't go broke now.
I'll take the lead.
Tony G wins that first small pot, takes the lead.
At least you know I'm calling with 10-7 when you re-raise.
It's fine with me.
I know.
That win's also made
50.
Tony more talkative than he's been so far. 9-5 suited for Tony G. Raises to 50,000. And Yosh with 5 deuce, and he throws it in.
Yosh continues his strategy of looking for quality hands.
I mean, you don't want to go all in with 2 kings, right? That would have been pretty bad if you went all in with 2 kings. You would have wasted your hand. You played it perfect. Just things not meant to be for you. And this time. Right? That's the way to look at it.
I think the way to look at it is you're not going to keep getting lucky.
Well,
You might think you will, but I don't
there's
think...
no rule like that. I've never seen that rule.
Huh? Yeah, it's a rule.
There's no reason not to get lucky all the time.
I think that was Yosh's thoughts after the first semifinal match, that he just couldn't continue to get lucky, although he did there in match 2.
I don't know if there is a rule or there isn't a rule that you can't get lucky all the time. I'm going to have to check that rule book.
Same chance to get lucky this hand.
Yosh with the suited king 8. Tony G 10-9 offsuit.
Yosh raised to 60,000. Tony G called.
And Yosh flops a pair of 8s.
And Tony G has got an open-end straight. Heads up, Yosh is going to bet his pair of 8s.
He bets 110,000.
What will Tony G do? He's just going to call, looks like, with his open-end straight draw. Looking for a queen or a 7. Yosh is looking for a king or an 8.
And as they go to 4th Street, a jack of hearts. Tony G checks.
Yosh does not like the jack.
And it's a 5 of hearts on the river.
I'll bet it.
Tony does not make his straight, but immediately he's going to make a pretty large-sized bet here, it looks like. $250,000. He's putting Yosh on a pair of 10s or a pair of 9s. Does not think Yosh can call with an ace and 2 jacks out there. It's a very good play by Tony G. Will Yosh make a better play and call?
That's Tony G's side of it. Now what's Yosh thinking?
Yosh is thinking, well, did this guy have a draw on the flop? And is he now representing a jack? Yosh is thinking, well, if Tony G has a weak ace, he probably wouldn't bet this much.
I had a good lay now. Man, did I have a hand to bust you then, if you had anything. Just hope you didn't lay down. Oh. Talk about getting lucky, backdoor style. That was one time I got lucky. Hopefully I get lucky again.
Tony G made a great bluff, and then he totally misrepresented his hand. He's back to being Tony G.
Poker fans, get the latest information from around the world of poker, including tournament updates, advice from pro Josh Aryeh, and much more at cbssportsline.com/poker. Third and deciding match at the Intercontinental Poker Championship. Tony G ahead in the chip count. That's one of the reasons why he's been a little more talkative. Yosh Nakano, small blind, king 8 offsuit.
And he's going to raise to $70,000 here with a king 8 offsuit. In our last match, he might have called. Don't think he would have done anything else. Here he's in the mood to play. As they say in poker, his nose is open a little bit.
Tony G with the 9-7 suited. He pairs that 9 on the flop, but Yosh pairs his king.
And this could be dangerous for an aggressive player like Tony G, but he checks on the flop.
Yosh Nakano's not going to check.
He bets $100,000. And in heads up, second pair is usually pretty good. So I can't see Tony G throwing his hand away. He's going to call. He's going to at least see the turn. Hope to catch a 9 or a 7. Yosh might be on a flush draw.
4 street, 6 of hearts. Tony G will check.
Yosh is pretty comfortable now that his kings are the best hand. This is Yosh's look when he's comfortable. So comfortable, he adds another $50,000 to that bet.
All in.
And with that, Tony G goes all in.
Tony G goes all in with a pair of 9s.
Really?
I don't understand this, but then I don't understand anything Tony G does. I don't see how Yosh can get away from his kings. He's got the best hand, and it only cost him $235,000 more. He will be all in, but it's hard to understand what Tony G is doing. If Yosh has a king, he has to call.
All right, I call.
And he does call.
What's that?
Pair of 9s.
That's what you want to see, Yosh. Pair of 9s.
Okay, I got the best hand one more time.
Let's see if you get unlucky again. 7 from heaven, I feel it.
That's all I can do, Mama.
Yosh doing his Elvis Presley impression. That's all right, Mama. Maybe I'll win when I have the best hand. And he does.
Banzai. All right. It's nice the best hand holds up sometimes.
Yosh's best hand held up, and he's going to take the chip lead here.
400 right here.
Giant hand for Yosh Nakano, and maybe more importantly, breaks that string of Tony G's good luck.
610.
30-year career for Yosh Nakano. He's been up and down, and he knows poker is a what have you done for me lately business.
You can never rest on your laurels in poker. You know, you can have 10 great years and then have a couple bad years, and you know, they can set you back, test your character. I'm actually on my comeback because I had a couple bad years. Poker can be a cruel game sometimes. Sometimes when you're supposed to win, you get very, very unlucky. In the long run, the better players are going to end up winning. Poker players have that optimism that they're going to win. I mean, that's why I keep playing.
Yosh has been around the victory circle for a long time, but he's never won a major tournament. This would be a nice feather in his cap.
My goal in this match, by the way, is to keep Tony quiet.
You happy?
Well, if you're quiet, that means I'm doing well.
Exactly. It's not wrong.
Kind of like playing a basketball game on the road. You want to take the crowd out of it. Blinds have been raised. King 8 offsuit for Yosh.
130,000 total.
I'll go all in.
All in.
Tony G has gone all in again with an ace high. Yosh has another king
I'm not
8.
here to limp in and get bluffed out. That's not me. You might get lucky.
No, it's a good play of yours. Either way.
Either way.
Yosh realizes this could be a play. Yosh is thinking maybe my king high is good, and he's going to call 360,000 more with king high, and he has the worst hand. If he gets lucky, catches a king or an 8, and Tony G doesn't improve, Yosh will be our winner.
9-6 queen on the flop.
Looks like I need help.
Pair of sixes for Tony G. If he can hold Yosh off with 2 more cards, this match will be almost even.
Jack comes on the turn.
It's a good card.
Yosh could make a straight with a 10. He could also win with a king or an 8.
10. Nope.
Doesn't happen, and
Nice
Tony
hand.
G is going to double up,
back
and
to
we're
even.
all square.
See, I'm not here to try to get bluffed out of pots. I told you a few times. You still don't want to listen to me.
Yeah. 350.
I need it all. The way I play. It's like even, huh? Yeah. Come on, Josh. Come on, Japan.
Back at the Palms Casino Resort, the Intercontinental Poker Championship, the final. Best 2 out of 3 heads up. The Palms Casino Resort is the place to party in Las Vegas. After hitting the tables and slots on the Palms' vast casino floor, head up to the Ghost Bar or dance like a rock star at Rain. The Palms features 21 of the world's most outrageous suites. There's no other place like the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas. Chip count in match 3. Yosh Nakano won the first match. Tony G won the second match.
It cost him $15,000 to call. And he's going to make a little raise here.
What is this, 30?
80,000 total.
Raises to 80,000. Tony G, 4-5 offsuit, but as we've seen, anything's possible.
And he calls. He's the Will Rogers of poker. Never met a hand he didn't like.
He's made the most of it so far. And look at that.
Wow.
Trip 5s for Tony G after the flop.
Check, check.
An 8 on the turn.
Was a good check on the flop by Tony G because Yosh has made it open and straight. And Yosh will call a bet now.
170.
Tony G bets 170,000.
Now Yosh is thinking that's a big bet for an open end straight. But Yosh is probably also thinking that he could probably win this hand with a 10 or a jack also. So he needs a 7, 10, jack, or queen in his mind to win this hand. He's putting Tony G on an 8 or a 9.
And it's an ace on the river.
Well, that does not help Yosh. Yosh has jack high. Let's see if Tony G will check and let him bet.
All in.
All in.
And Tony G goes all in.
I don't care about the ace.
Tony G had no way of knowing, but that was the wrong play at that point. But Yosh could have had ace 9, and then it was the right play.
Hands down, Tony G's been the most entertaining player in this tournament. Whether you love him or hate him, he doesn't care. He's going to play the game his way.
I don't care about cards. So I bend my mind to a different level, and I take the psychology part out of it, and I use my instincts. All in. What are you doing to me? I told you so many times, don't touch my blind. And even if all my chips and I don't have a good hand, I'm still happy to put everything in on my feelings. That's what I learned in Australia. People go for it in Australia.
Yeah! Yeah, baby! Feel the power. You feel my power, baby?
And we love to win. And I'm not here to let my country down. I'm here to win.
Well, that style's been working so far for Tony G. He's leading in our rubber match for our Intercontinental Poker Championship.
Blinds at 15 and 30,000. And if he'll play the weaker hands, you know he's going to jump all over ace-queen.
This is one of the advantages to Tony's style.
Hope you don't attack me again.
No.
He can raise with all kinds of junk
decision.
hands, and then if he picks up a good hand, it's hard for his opponent to believe he has one. Problem in this hand was Yosh didn't have much with a jack-6 offsuit, but he's made a pair of sixes on the flop.
Yosh just checks.
I check.
And Tony G checks. 4th straight. Queen now for Tony G.
Wow. Yosh slow played his sixes on the flop, and he's going to be sorry about it. Bets 50,000, but Tony G, showing the different styles, just calls.
On the river, another deuce.
Yosh doesn't like that deuce because when Tony just called,
60,000.
Yosh might have believed Tony could have had a deuce. Probably put him on a 4 or a deuce. And now the deuces have paired. If Tony G has a 6 also, it would be a split pot. And Yosh, good read there. Realizes he didn't have the best hand and throws it away.
Tony G takes down the pot, 220,000. Adding a little more to his chip lead.
I'm easy, right, Yosh? I'm easy when I don't talk. Still hard to win, isn't it?
I didn't say you were ever easy. I just said it's better for me if you're not talking.
I know. I don't mind. I don't need to talk all the time. Sometimes I feel not to
To
talk.
be honest with you, this 3 match has been the quietest we've seen Tony G in the tournament.
I thought I had been talking.
I just want to win today. I'll raise it.
Raising.
Tony G with a pair of jacks.
2 big hands in a row.
Let's hope you didn't limp in with anything good.
30,000.
Let's hope you didn't limp in with anything good.
No, I didn't.
Yosh throws away his hand. Tony G got a little unlucky there. Yosh didn't have much of a hand against his jacks.
The Thunder from down under inching closer to the Intercontinental Poker Championship. CBS Sports Spectacular, the Intercontinental Poker Championship is sponsored by PartyPoker.net. Play free and learn at PartyPoker.net. Chip count in match 3. Yosh Nakano won the first match. Tony G won the second match. Blinds raised to 20 and 40,000.
That's better. That's nicer, right? That's friendly. When you have a bad hand, look for friends, right? That's what you're doing now. Okay, I check. I have a bad hand too. We have both bad hands, so 2 friends.
Yosh called with Jack-5 offsuit. Tony didn't raise with his Jack-10. And Yosh flops 2 pair.
And he checks.
Both checked.
I checked.
And it's a 10 on 4th Street. So
Wow.
now Tony G has 2
Tony
pair.
G has a higher 2 pair now. Doesn't matter. He would have called if Yosh bet on the flop.
That's 100,000.
I go all in.
Tony G is all in.
No friends in poker.
Huh?
No friends in poker.
No friends in poker.
And Yosh is going to have
I
to
call.
call. And he is not going to like it. He's going to need to catch a 5. Otherwise, Tony G is our Intercontinental Poker Champion.
I got jacks and 5s.
You see the percentages, 95 to 5. There's 2 5s left in the deck. Yosh needs one of them. Otherwise, the title goes to Australia.
That's the poker business.
Tony G about to become numero uno in the world.
The big sigh from Yosh. Here comes the river. And it's a 5.
What happened?
That's the poker business, isn't it?
Full house for Yosh Nakano.
Jeez.
That was
That's
unbelievable.
unbelievable. That's about the luckiest I've ever got, Tony, in my life.
I got to say this. Tony G took that
That's what
better than
happens.
any poker player I could
This is
conceive
7.
of.
50,
Look how calm he
60,
is.
80, 90, 100. 7.
He was this close to being the champion.
There you go. I know it.
The cards do break even.
Yeah, of course. It's nothing. That's the beauty of poker.
Wow. How does that
That
happen?
makes you happy, right?
It's unbelievable. I don't believe it.
That's the name of the game.
I was ready
Can't
to
control
walk
the
over
cards.
and shake your hand.
And I'm still in good form. I'm still in good shape.
Yeah.
Still going to win it.
It's 24 to win.
Tony G is still positive, but that was a terrible, terrible beat. And now the consequences of that beat look like they're starting to sink in.
Facial expression saying it all for Tony G. Yosh Nakano now the big chip lead, 1.6 million. And Tony G, ace jack for him.
He's going all in here with this hand for sure.
I'm moving.
And that's exactly what he does. 8-6 suited for Yosh.
Is Yosh going to gamble here with his 8-6 of hearts?
270.
270 total. 230 more.
230 more.
Could get lucky and win it right here.
All right. You live and fight another day.
Yosh did not want to call with
You
8
wanna
high
show
and
one?
double Tony G up.
No, I'm fine.
I guarantee you Tony G would have called if the situations were reversed. Try to knock Yosh out right there.
Yosh in the small blind. Queen 3 suited. Tony G with a queen.
I check.
Tony G checks. Deuces and a 5 on the flop, and Tony G pairs his 5.
Check, check.
It's a 10 on 4th Street.
Tony G still slow playing his pair of 5s. Great card for Tony G on the river. Yosh has made a pair of 3s.
That's 80,000.
Yosh going to make a value bet of 80,000.
2 threes.
Tony G is going to call and win this pot also. Building up his stack.
240,000 for Tony G. That'll help his cause somewhat. He's trying to fight, scratch, claw his way back in there and just stay alive. Blind stay at 20 and 40,000.
Well, that 3 on the river helped him scratch and claw. Made Yosh throw off 80,000 there.
10-8 offsuit for Yosh in the small blind.
He's going to call.
Tony G, a pair of 5s.
All in.
That didn't take long.
410 more.
Can't see
450
Yosh
total.
calling with 10-8. Tony G has gone above the $500,000 mark.
It's a look of concern now for Japan's Yosh Nakano. While we were away, Tony G losing a hand, his stack shrinking to 360,000. Blinds at 30 and 60,000. Yosh in the small blind with ace deuce.
Big difference between 360 and 550. Yosh has got that ace. Heads up.
I'm on.
Big card. He's going all in.
Not cool.
Well, king queen for Tony G, and he makes the quick call.
Well, it's the nature of this game, isn't it? Comes
Yeah,
out
that's a
to
close race.
pretty close race. I got the diamonds.
Yosh is 58% to take the title to Japan.
And a king on the flop for Tony G.
I got, 3 wins.
Yosh is going to need an ace. Otherwise, his seesaw is going to continue.
Ooh.
Deuce on
5
4th
wins
Street.
Deuce is good. Gives him 2 more outs. He needs an ace or a deuce to win here.
And it's a 10.
To be, okay.
So Tony G's
How much
going
you
to
got?
double up through Yosh. And the plot thickens again.
Oh,
That's
boy.
240.
Back up to 720,000.
total.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. It's not meant to be, that's for sure. Not meant to be for you, Yosh. Sometimes things like that. Seems it is, and then all of a sudden, you're out of it.
Yeah, you never know.
Yosh can't win when he's a favorite. His biggest victory came when he had only 2 cards to win with, 2 5s. Look at this. Tony G's got an ace here. Let's see what he does.
I go all in.
All in.
And he's all in with his ace.
720 in total. It's easy to work out. Is it close?
No, it's not close. I don't know what Yosh is doing. He's not calling with a 10-4.
Taking his time, takes a drink, and throws them in.
It's like getting level again, Yosh. Getting level. It's good to be on the ropes, right? You know how it feels when you get crippled like that. Bad beat, you know how hard things are.
Tony G back up to 780.
I don't give up when the chips are down and times are tough. I knuckle down and I play. You going to give up?
No.
No, I know you're not going to give up.
Yosh got a pair here.
All right, you talk me into it. I'll go all in.
All in.
And I think he did talk him into it. Tony G finally started consistent talking. And I don't think Yosh would have gone all in with his pair of 3s here. Tony G has 780,000. He'd be in a commanding position if he wins this hand, but I don't see him calling with King 9 offsuit. This would be a very ambitious call for all his money. He's made these kind of calls before, and he makes it again.
What, you got about King 9 or something?
Yeah.
And Yosh knows exactly what he has.
That was a good choice. How did you know?
I'm a poker player. I'm supposed to know.
I'm the favorite. There's nothing in it.
That was kind of incredible.
Now it's my
Yosh
turn
knew
to
exactly
get lucky.
what Tony G had. Either Tony G is going to have over $1.5 million, or Yosh is going to win the tournament.
Yeah, he'll still go.
2 aces and a jack on the flop.
Ooh, good flop for you.
It is a good flop for Tony G because he would win or take the lead if another jack came up. He'd have aces and jacks, king high.
It's a 7 on the turn.
Tony G now needs a 7, a 9, a jack, or a king. Otherwise, Yosh Nakano is our champion.
And the 3 on the river is overkill. Yosh Nakano from Japan, the first ever Intercontinental Poker Champion. Tony G disappointed. He thought destiny was on his side.
Match. Either way, it could have gone either way.
It could have gone either way, back and forth, but in the end, it was Yosh Nakano. First major tournament title of his career. Japan wins the Intercontinental Poker Championship, $350,000 to Nakano. And to pay tribute, here's the national anthem of Japan.
Well, that was a tough match, buddy.
Well done. You did really well. You deserve it.
Great champion in Yosh Nakano as he claims his first major tournament title. 21 players, 21 countries. In the end, it was the methodical Yosh Nakano that bested the maverick from down under, Tony G.
Well, poker's growing all over the world, and we saw some great poker on this championship. Great bets, great bluffs, great calls, and some luck. Everything that poker's all about.
For Gabe Kaplan, I'm Jeff Medders, our first ever Intercontinental Poker Champion, Yosh Nakano from Japan.